Who can name all 46 presidents? Do you know the 3 branches of government? Just a couple of questions to test your knowledge of American civics. Joining us during Civics Awareness Month is Judge Douglas Ginsburg, a jurist and academic who serves as a judge on the United States Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia. Thank you so much for joining us, Your Honor.
Well, thanks, Layla, for the opportunity. Anything that takes me back to Charleston, I enjoy enormously.
Well, we're so happy to hear that. Well, and I'd love to hear more about your time here in Charleston, but I realize that naming all 46 presidents might be a bit of a toughie, but does it ever surprise you that many of us adults and also kids these days aren't necessarily being taught civics in schools or remember them into their adult years?
It's actually shocking. When I was filming A More or Less Perfect Union for PBS, we did a lot of man-on-the-street interviews, and it was just depressing to find out so few people really have any grasp of civics today, especially young people. The younger they are, high school graduates and above, the younger they are, the less they know, which is really quite problematic for our democracy. I'm not comfortable knowing that half of our population who vote cannot name the 3 branches of our government. And we really need to beef up civics education. So with Civics Fundamentals, what we've done is we've made it fun, put fun into fundamentals. We've created 100 2-minute videos, each one addressing a question on the exam that immigrants have to take to become U.S. citizens. And so as things stand today, people who have come from abroad, become U.S. citizens, know more about our government and their rights and their responsibilities as citizens than native-born Americans do. And that's really shocking and dangerous for our democratic form of government.
Well, it certainly is. It certainly is. And I can relate because my father, for instance, he had to take that test. And sadly, he knew more than I did when it came to some of those questions. Also, like you mentioned, voters. We are citizens, voters of this country. And to not know some of the basic fundamentals, the basics of American civics, that puts us behind the 8 ball on elections, on knowing what the facts are and how to move this country forward.
Yes, and then things come up in the news all the time that people don't really understand if they haven't a grasp of civics. Things like impeachment or presidential vetoes or the inability of the 2 houses of Congress to agree on something. Why do we have 2 houses of Congress, for goodness sake? Parliamentary countries don't have 2 parliaments. And there are reasons for these things, and it's important to understand them because they involve the checks and balances that the framers built into our Constitution and the amendments over time that we have adopted in order to make the Constitution more democratic, to increase the voting public, for instance, and bring the vote to women, to young people 18 years old.
That's right.
And of course, before all that, to African Americans. These things didn't just happen. You know, there's a history to them, and there are reasons for them. And understanding those is not difficult. It actually, as I said, it really is fun. The way we've done it with using video materials.
It is.
And it's free for anyone who wants to use it.
And knowledge is power, isn't it? And it's almost a 2-prong approach because A, you have to know your civics, but you also have to be well informed just on news of the day. So what advice would you have for some of our younger viewers that might be falling a little bit behind those standards?
Well, younger viewers are getting their news primarily from social media. And that is always necessarily rather superficial. Rarely goes into depth about the issues as they are and why they have arisen. So it's open for anyone to go on the web. They're going on the web for social media. Go on the web and look at civicsfundamentals.org. It's free for students. It's free for people who want to become U.S. citizens. And best of all, it's free for teachers who also get a teacher's guide and some animations that go along with it, some additional video to support it, and shows them how they can make teaching civics fundamental and making it fun and enjoy teaching it as well as the students enjoy learning it.
You know what you're talking about. You're one of the top appellate judges in the nation. You have heard more than 3,000 cases, and you're a professor at many illustrious universities and educational institutions. So I want to thank you so much for joining us with that information. I think I'm going to visit that website, and I'm going to start testing myself. Judge Ginsburg, thank you for joining us.
It's fun. I'm sure you will. Thank you, Layla.
Appreciate it. We're back after this.